Well, hello. My name is Deanne Treasure Kellogg. I am an artist, illustrator, writer. I attempted originally to post every Monday. I'm still going to try that, although that has not happened. I appreciate all my subscribers. Thank you so very much. I love you. I love you. I love you. I have not received any suggestions. So I want to know, how can I be of service to you? Maybe I could interview, showcase some other artists. I've thought about that. I've reached out to two so far, or maybe more. Later on, I could demonstrate some art therapy. We did talk about that. That is an idea. I could tell you a little bit more about me, my purpose. Um, really is to connect with you. Um, we're all energy beings anyway. So I will not delay the art show, the reading any longer. Thank you. Enjoy.
I have lived 30 years as a Eucalyptus reginus. That's not my personal name, of course, just my tree genus. There's no real translation for it in speech. We trees communicated chemically underground in a vast network of root systems. We knew everything about each other and lent a hand when necessary. The weird thing was that it seemed to be no trees like myself, but I was contented mostly. I had foresty friends everywhere. Some of my fellow trees said that humans must have brought me from a distant land. Purposeful or not mattered little. I did all right. Besides, I had a Prunus cerula next to me, whom I was particularly fond of. Have you ever seen a Prunus cerula? Some call it a birch bark cherry. They were truly beautiful, shining metallic red when the sun graced them. Not like me. I was rather tall, lanky. Sometimes people call my kind a stringy gum. I guess you could say that my Prunus cerula and me had chemistry. Often we would message each other with about various birds, squirrels, annoying critters that they were, mainly because my Prunus cerula delighted in them. We would laugh about the funny pikas. We would discuss the mannerisms of antelopes, bears, wolves, and my favorite, foxes. I could have spent hours on the foxes. For solitary critters, they sure did like to tell everyone who they were. They would put their smell everywhere all the time. The thing I found most fascinating about them, though, was their understanding of the Earth's magnetic field. It was a concept that I doubt those intellectual humans and elves even understood. Yet here they were, using it to hunt prey. My Prunus cerula and I would keep track of how accurate they were and when. When you're planted on the forest floor, you do a lot of observing. I mean, what else are we going to do? Well, sure enough, whenever those little rascals were facing due north, they would make the kill with uncanny accuracy. Kill is a little bit morbid, albeit that's how the animals were created. I was glad to not have to kill anything to sustain myself, though it is upon death that I have sustenance from the ground. In essence, there could be no life without death, but to actually kill was ghastly. Watching these creatures, I doubt they realize the pain they inflict. I suppose their ignorance or lack of awareness protects them. The two-legged ones, though, orcs, goblins, humans, and elves, they do have awareness. They are capable of commiseration, though some do not. Those with no empathy, they're left barren of heart and ungrateful. I pitied them. Thankfully, the air was too thin for them up here. Occasionally, one or two of the two-legged sorts would come along. They killed mushrooms, herbs, and flowering plants, but mostly we were left alone. In our network, I heard of people killing adult trees by the hundreds. Can you imagine? I could not imagine their loss. What a terrible thing to endure. All those helpless sprouts, orphaned, with no guidance or knowledge of how to survive. Anyway, I was not always doing well. Cerula thought it was the thin air that did little for my constitution. She said this place is no good for my type. My growth had not been what it should be, despite the fact that I easily gather all the sunlight a tree could want. I only grew 1 foot this year, when I'm supposed to grow 3. My kind lived roughly 400 years and reached over 200 feet tall. I was exceptionally tall now, but still, it was not right. I was not what I should be. I just hated to rely on the others. It would be nice to be mobile, foraging for myself, more like the fox, exploring all that there was. That was what I was thinking the night before my life changed. Our lives changed forever. A strange dream swept over me. It was the time of the melting, the ninth day, I believed. A Monday, around sunset, when I woke knowing something had occurred. I was recast. I could retract my roots and move about the floor. Before I thought about it with proper sense, I twirled around fast and faster, excited at the prospect. I grew dizzy rather quickly and crashed upon the forest floor. I thought that I was dreaming. Just imagine me, a tree, dizzy, laying on the forest floor, dazed up at the sky as the other trees snickered at me. I suppose I showed how much of a fool I was. I did not mind. I sprang up and tried to run, only to trip on a plethora of roots and rocks. I was too excited to think proper. I was trying too much, too fast, but I could not seem to stop myself. I was jubilant, and all so much at once. How did I come to be this way? What was I? I stood still and thought of my tree self. I felt the tree as like the tree of a conventional branches stem from my body. Orthodox green leaves sprouted from my branches. Then I thought of the pretty elves that sometimes venture through our forest. My form shifted. I cracked and creaked as I split appendages. 2 legs and 2 arms formed. It was a bit alarming at first to have your bulk split. You would think it would be painful, but instead it was just a shock, nothing more. To my amazement, I even had fingers with nails. I drew in an actual air filled me. I gazed upon my new form. My arms and legs sort of looked like skin, but still it was a bit like bark. I had leaves for hair. It was coarse, but indeed green as hair. I guess that I'm something in between a tree and an elf. But how? Quickly, I dug my roots into the ground, sending chemical messages to all of my friends. Then suddenly I realized that my prunus cerula was not there. I panicked. Where had it gone? I learned that a divine dew goddess had passed through. She blessed my prunus cerula and me. My prunus cerula had taken the liberty to investigate our forest. It did not take me long to find my favorite tree. We embraced. This sensation was not so different from sharing chemicals. In essence, it had the same effect. With mouths, we could now make sound. This opened a whole new array of emotions within me. We decided to create names in the common language. My prunus cerula was more thoughtful than I. It decided on Tashi, meaning auspicious. But to me it was Norby, meaning jewel. As for me, I just chose Dawa Ninub, meaning Monday sunset. So you can see who the creative one is in the relationship. After deliberation, I should have referred to Tashi as she, though she was not exactly a she as in female. We could not be considered a male either. Well, some plants have sexes as animals do. We did not. Perhaps the term unisex was appropriate. We could assume the form of male or female. It mattered not to us. The term she was more apt, though, as referring to a female because we can procreate, though it is not at all as other sexual creatures do. We both just need to absorb a bit of other creatures' fundamental characteristics and add it to our own to deposit it into the ground in the form of a seed. Tashi decided the Dew Goddess wanted us to protect the forest, but I was not sure. I have never felt so alive in my life. Surely the Dew Goddess gave me this form, saved me from slow deterioration. Though I was not actually sick, I was not what I should be, and now I've been given a chance. I still absorb nutrition the same way without needing to kill. So I use my mouth to drink. I much prefer to use it to kiss Tashi. Then Tashi and I argued excessively. I was not given legs to stay here. Why couldn't she see this? I knew my purpose was to leave the forest, to venture the world and be the optimal me. She, however, refused to leave. She thought we should stay and raise a family, have two-legged trees running around. My heart was broken. How could such a wonderful blessing cause such pain in the pit of me? I left her shouting at me. She said never to come back. I hope she did not mean it, though. I left with Tilla, a tillandsia plant she had given me. I was grateful for Tilla because my journey from the mountains would have been lonesome without it. Closer to the bottom, we fell upon remnants of a battle. Such a thing caused sadness. I spied a fox there. It rustled with broken weapons and bits of armor. I abruptly got the fancy to be like the elves with their recurves. I did not know why. I did not want to kill anything, not really. I guess I was just staring at that broken elven recurve, and my imagination got the better of me. I did not realize I had an imagination. I spent my life planted only observing weather patterns, animals, and the occasional giants. I mean, some trees told stories, true. however, was probably just a boring tree, never thinking of anything beyond what was there in front of it. It was in front of me. Recurve? I picked it up. It seemed functional, not that I knew how to use it properly. I collected as many arrows as I could find. I was still not sure of my own intention, just some fancy in the back of my mind. Then I assessed that if it were possible for me to replicate the arrows, perhaps I could acquire the skill with patience. I was a tree. Of course I had patience. In our travels, Tilla and I stumbled across many skirmishes where we collected useful items. Most of the armor was inadequate. I am built somewhat like my old tree form, tall and lanky. I was 6'8", with nothing fitting lengthwise, and it was all too wide. I managed. The best was when we stumbled upon a shallow cave. The resident died long ago, judging by its rot. This creature had a Danyan among its possessions. I always enjoyed music, but what tree does not? I tried to play fruitlessly for many days. There were books packed with beautiful script kept with the instrument. I swore that I would learn to read it. There was not much need or opportunity to read as a tree. But I was no longer a tree. Myriads of possibilities now spread wide before me, all thanks to the Dew Goddess. I had to discern my purpose. I did not know how long I stayed in that dank cave. I practiced with the arrows and the recurve and the Danyan every waking hour before recoiling to the tomb-like dwelling. Perhaps I was procrastinating. The pool of Tashi still lingered in the back of my mind. I already knew there was a road. It was about time that I took it and braved my future. What was the meaning of it all? The meaning of life? It was based on interpretation, surely, but I could not rightly decide without knowledge. I had to explore these two-legged creatures personally, because the Dew Goddess recast me in their form. It must be significant.
Thank you. Remember, like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And if you know of any better programs to do slideshows, please let me know. This one is quite challenging. It crashes a lot and butchers things, repeats things that's not in the original audio. Okay, well, thank you. Till next time.